Clegg being day-to-day, will you have to bring up an extra defenseman just to add one here?
We won't as of right now because he's day-to-day and maybe even better than day-to-day, moment-to-moment. We kept him off this morning. Just we could have had him out there this morning.
With Jacobs in?
Jacob will be in.
What?
Don't tell anybody.
What did he maybe get away from that he was doing earlier? Or was it just a number? Was it just, you know, he wanted to get Kale some action?
Yeah, it was more Kale and Kale's capabilities than anything negative on Jacob's side.
What's the assessing that third pair? I know Kale and Jacob have been kind of, you know, cycling in and out of the lineup, but with Labushkin, how have you felt about his play over the last maybe month or so? By the numbers, it seems like he's got much more.
We feel his play's been great the last month, and really we targeted 2-3 weeks ago to push him to a next level or off the plateau he was on. He had a challenging first 30 to 40 games because of injuries, a couple different injuries, lingering injuries that he had to play with and play through. Through that process, there was some hesitation that entered his game, some doubt that entered his game, and credit to Marty, Wilford, Danny Girardi, and all the coaches to target that we needed. He needed to become more comfortable and shed some hesitation in his game. We felt that he was a lot more capable than he was performing, and we had some lots of talks with him and video with him and pushed him to just try to breathe a little bit. And I think he's settled down and settled in, and he's been very good. And by virtue of that, we see more skill. He's a rugged, hard-nosed defenseman, and he'll always be. But there is some underlying skill there that we weren't seeing, and we're seeing a little bit more of that, just to make simple plays and reads.
God, it's been so long since the Leafs have been in this building. You have a bunch of guys who've never played them here for the Sabres. Young guys, Quinn, Paterka, Power, but even a guy like Tuck never played the Leafs here. I mean, how much early on, especially with the goofy atmosphere it is, do you just have to make sure your guys just play and because it's not going to feel like a normal home game?
No, I don't expect it will, but I do know that our guys have performed well in really chaotic buildings this year. So I'm comfortable that our guys will be excited for it. I think our guys are in a much better place than we were our last time we played at home coming out of that break. So I think we're in a better position than we were a week ago, and I think history this season tells us that our guys get pretty excited for chaotic places and buildings, and we know that has a lot of potential to be the case tonight.
With Toronto being so talented up and down their lineup, will you still try to maybe get a specific defensive pair out against Matthews, or, as I said, as talented as they are, you're just going to roll them?
Well, you're going to watch it for sure, and you're going to see how the game goes. But we do know that Darlene is. If he doesn't win a Norris Trophy, I'm shocked. But he defends exceptionally well, exceptionally quick, and Owen has progressed immensely. So those two guys have done a great job. They're on different pairs, and you put Samuelson and Jokiharju with either one of them. We're very comfortable with those four guys and what they're doing in key moments and key situations against top players around the league. So, tonight's top players on Toronto, you can mention them by name, but this league is filled with exceptionally talented hockey players, and that group of four guys has had the main focus on them, and I would expect that to be the case tonight. As far as a hard matchup, again, I think we're very comfortable with those four, and if we had to be, Bush has been great with them as well, and tonight Bryce will go in, and so we're comfortable with our guys. But yeah, you do look for matchups at any point.
Don, you have coached a lot of high-end talented players. What was there about Matthews
step above everyone else, and did you ever think like this kid would have the potential down the road to win a Hart Trophy?
That is an easy yes, because he was so, he is so talented. You guys see that. So he presented immediately. He came in even on a visit to the national team program, and we would have those kids a year before they come to the program come in, and I would have them practice with us just so they'd get a feel for it. And Austin was one of those guys, and I can remember I pretty much ran off the ice and grabbed our player personnel director and said, please tell me you have him signed already for next year, because at that point you had to commit kids. And he laughed and said, no, we don't need to do that yet. And we got in a pretty good discussion about, yes, we do. So, yeah, he had a lot of passion for the game. He's a great athlete, as everybody knows now, and he worked very competitive about his work ethic. So he had all the ingredients that pointed to that.
How much does the scouting report on the Leafs change with the addition of O'Reilly to that group?
I mean, I think it's the same from the standpoint of that's a team that demands respect going in anyway. But they add them, and that's a bonus for them. But I'm not so sure. They were every bit a team that you got to pay attention to and respect, full out, even without Ryan, and you add him, and it's another boost, positive for them. So
now that you put yourself in this playoff mix, and knowing the success you had to close last season, is that something you can lean on because this team's been through it, or the pressure's different because you guys weren't really in that playoff position a year ago, as opposed to right now where you stand?
It's interesting. I don't know if we feel playoff pressure or pressure to make the playoffs. I think our guys feel pressure to win games, period. And we felt that when we were 0-0-0 at the start of the year. We had, like every other team, you had no wins, and you look at 82 games, you're like, whew, we got a lot of work to do. And we feel exactly the same right now. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of reasons to feel good about some of the work we've done. But John, because you've been around us a while, we won't look too far ahead, because you miss the business at hand, and the business at hand is the next game, which is tonight. So, there's a lot of hype and excitement playing the Maple Leafs, playing them at home. I think that's enough for us right now, and we know we need to win. So, and expectations, I think they rise with capability. So the positive side of it is expectations on us are really the number one indicator that we're capable, or people wouldn't expect it. We wouldn't be expected to make a run for the playoffs if we weren't good enough to make a run for the playoffs. So to me, it's a positive.
What do you like about the way Middlestat, Krebs, and Quinn are playing together?
They're developing chemistry, and they're competing hard. They're working hard. But the chemistry that they're developing fuels the passion to work harder. They're excited. They believe there's more. They have a greater capacity. They see this as an immense opportunity to satisfy an appetite I think they've had for more, but haven't been able to connect on it. So Krebs had done a lot of work with his game, to his game, in between Okposo and Girgensons. Really worked on the foundation of his game, simplifying his game. Now he finds himself with Quinn, who we know is highly skilled and has immense potential, and Mitzi, who has worked extremely hard, been extremely competitive the entire year, but has struggled to find chemistry. And they're feeling that happening now, and I know they're excited about that.
Understanding you need to focus on the day-to-day, how much do you allow yourself to imagine what it would be like to bust the drought and what it would mean for the city of Buffalo?
Well, when you think of the city, the community, it drives you to work harder to that end. Having been in the business of coaching and hockey and developing teams and competing to win, that all stays the same. when you go out and you're in the community, you feel, boy, I'd love to do it and love to go to work for this community, which I think our players identify with that. And then when you get in this building and you go to work, it's all work, and it's win hockey games. But it would be special. It will. I think our guys will. It will be special to do that and bring success back to this community. Our guys are driven for that, and they know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And yeah, we're fighting to do it sooner than later.